Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to yet another great edition of Topic Time with Harrison Young. We're finally feeling like summer out there, and it is looking like summer in here. I have a beautiful guest tonight, and we're going to get to her in a minute. First, I must read the underwriters. Got some new ones, got a few, and then we'll get to the show as usual. We got Craft the Barbering, a barber shop in Pembroke. They're in Newark. We got good old Chapin Sheds in Whitman. We got T. Martini and Son Floor Covering in Abington. We got a new one in Brockton, Above All Fitness at Forest Ave. We got Johnny Macaroni's at 3 locations, 2 in East Bridgewater, 1 in Halifax. We got Vape Solutions in East Bridgewater. We got Michael H. Jewelers in East Bridgewater. We got John's Greenhouses and Florist Shop in Brockton. We got Big Lee's Automotive in Abington. We got Pro Tint Window Tinting in Abington. And we got Clothes Clinic Dry Cleaning and Alterations in Whitman, where Topic Time fans get 10% off. And I want to thank you guys very much. And now we will start the show officially. Here we go. Okay, again, thank you very much. Welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. The guests have just been incredible. I have a beautiful model up here tonight. This is Vanessa Marie. We've been on Facebook for a while. We've been talking. She's done a lot of great projects. We may look at some of her pictures later, and we're going to talk to her tonight, find out how she got to be where she is. She looks pretty young. I take it, probably in the millennial range. So Vanessa, thanks for coming and being on my show tonight.
Of course.
Okay. Now, I noticed on Facebook that you were formerly lived in the Boston area, then you moved up to Maine.
Yes.
Real quick question, why? Just curious, if you're just wondering why you did that. Did it help your career at all, or?
No, it definitely didn't help my career, but it didn't set it back either. I'm just further away from the Boston scene in my agency, but it was mostly because of school. I go to Maine College of Art.
Okay.
I'm going to be a sophomore in the fall. I study fashion.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. College of Art. So that's you like designing clothes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Aside from modeling, you design clothes.
Yeah. So I figured that someday when I'm older and not able to model because I'm older, I still want to be involved in the industry. So having my own brand and casting my own models would be the next best way to be involved.
That's great. That is awesome. Okay. You seem very coordinated and talented, and
Thank you.
Okay. Now, but now let's go back. I want to talk about your childhood. You brought your mom here today.
I did, yes.
So, and she's, we want everyone to be relaxed. It's going to be, this isn't a grilling session. We just ask you cool questions. So, where did you grow up, and how did it end up getting you into modeling?
So I originally grew up in Methuen, Massachusetts.
Great town.
Yep, right outside
Sounds
of
like
Boston.
a sneeze. Methuen. I always lighten the mood with humor, but go on.
It's fun when the GPS tries to pronounce it too.
What's that?
When the GPS tries to pronounce it. The voice on the GPS.
Yeah. There you go.
Good stuff.
I know.
But so I grew up in Methuen. I got into modeling. I always knew I wanted to do something in the public eye ever since I was little. I guess I just had that way about me. I was always wanted to be the center of attention.
Okay.
And I grew up watching an older cousin of mine compete in beauty pageants and do modeling herself.
Okay.
So when I was about 10 years old, she was signed in Boston at the time, and her boyfriend, who also models, they kind of brought me into the agency just to see what it looked like.
Well, you started. All right, you got to see it at 10.
Yeah, pretty young, which I'm so lucky that I had that opportunity so early on.
Right.
And they pretty much told me come back in a couple years, you're a little bit older, and you look less like a little boy and more like developed.
Okay. Well, you were kind of tomboyish as a real little kid.
I was just young. I was just
short.
really young.
Nobody could tell the difference from her face. I understand.
Knees scraped from the playgrounds.
Yeah. Okay.
So when I was 14, I went back there to that same agency, John Robert Powers.
Okay. Yep.
And they signed me, and I worked with them for 2 years. Their Boston location closed, so I freelanced for a year. And then,
all right, what do you mean freelance? Doing what?
So I didn't have an agency.
Okay.
At the time because they closed their Boston location, like I said. So I just still wanted to model, so I just booked my own work.
Oh, you did. So you basically represented yourself.
Yeah. Yep. You could put it that way.
You just did.
Yeah.
Great. So you know what that means, don't you? It means that that you cut out the middle person, and in all likelihood, someday, while you're designing fashions, you may start your own modeling agency and help other people. Make some money on the side. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and like at the time, I thought that it was going to be a bit of an inconvenience or problem that I was going to be on my own, but I kind of just worked through it and taught myself, you know, don't take no for an answer. Like just keep working for what you want, and you don't really need anybody else but yourself at the end of the day. And I ended up signing with another agency a year later because I booked enough work to build up my portfolio and keep it going.
Wow.
Even without an agency.
Well, how about present day? Do you have an agent now?
Yeah, so I'm still signed with Dynasty Models and Talent, also in Boston.
Great agency.
Yeah, they're
I've had
wonderful.
a lot of their people on.
I love them.
Yeah,
love them to death.
And now, what about other things? Do you do any acting, film acting, or theater, or music?
I took acting classes when I was signed with John Robert Powers.
Okay.
I auditioned for a couple things. I wasn't really super into it. I'm really into the modeling.
Just the modeling.
The runway aspect of it and the photo shoots.
All right, so talk about some of the runway shows you've done. I think I've seen some of them, but you will enlighten us a little bit.
My first, like, quote unquote, like big show would be I walked for Lord & Taylor when I was 15.
That's the department store?
Yes.
Oh, that's okay.
Yep, like in the mall.
Where was that, in Braintree, Boston?
It was in Rockingham, at the Rockingham Mall.
Oh,
They had a runway.
New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep, right in
gotcha.
New Hampshire. And
Sure.
they had a runway come down, just like the center aisle where people walk in the mall. And they had bigger flagship stores like donate prom dresses to us so the models could wear them in New Hampshire and show off the newest trends.
How old were you when you did this?
15.
Okay, so you were still in high school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that wasn't that long ago, obviously.
It feels long ago, but it really wasn't.
It really wasn't,
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things.
We've done so much in the last few years that I can understand why, I mean, you've done so much and you just, and probably it sounds like you've done more in the last 3 or 4 years than you did although whatever you did leading up to that, and this is why I always ask these questions, it's gotten to where you're at. You obviously, as a little kid, you obviously knew what you wanted, you knew how to win, and you're a go-getter. And that's very impressive to interview someone like that because,
Thank you.
it makes me almost look good. Okay. All right, so that was your first runway shot at Lord & Taylor in Rockingham.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's a pretty big mall, so I'm assuming there was a lot of people there.
Yeah, and I made a lot of really great.
I didn't even know they did runway shoots at malls. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. They usually don't. So when I booked it, I was like super excited because I was like, wow, this is like a big brand.
Of course.
It's going to be advertised in a big way, but it's so local.
Yep.
And like low key that it wasn't like the pressure for a 15-year-old to be in her first show and have it be for a brand like that wasn't.
But you aced it, didn't you?
overwhelming.
I can remember my mother used to have Lord & Taylor boxes all over the house. She loved shopping there. I don't even think do they exist anymore? If you're not sure, that's fine. That's not even that question isn't even pertinent. But I was just wondering.
The malls in Maine just have.
I know the models there,
no
but I'm just wondering if
stores in
Lord &
them,
Taylor exists. I haven't seen one of them in a long time. But
Yeah.
but I'm not much into fashion. I wear this stuff for the show, and then my usual everyday crap with the T-shirt and the shorts and all that. With the clever slogans. but that's me. Now, okay, so that was your first one. What have you done since then for runway shows?
I'm thinking.
Just go ahead. Take your time.
Okay. Because usually I just like look at like what's on my
If
phone.
you can't think of it, if you can't think of stuff, other things you've done along modeling lines, and we'll talk about that.
I did New Hampshire Fashion Week.
Okay, that was I know that. I know I've had some people on the show
Yeah.
that did that. How many times have you done that?
So this past April was my second year doing it, and I
Okay.
also did it the April before that.
All right, cool. So you
So-
did it twice.
Yeah,
Okay,
yep.
April 2018 and 2019.
Hopefully 2022.
Hopefully 20. Well, okay, but that's still a ways off. Now you got the summer coming. So what are you going to do for the
Exactly.
summer for your modeling? You do bikini shots at all? Like on
I
the
do.
beach?
Yeah, I do a lot of swimsuit modeling.
Yep, okay.
But photo shoot wise, runway wise, in a show next weekend for this little boutique up near where I live called Pomp Boutique, and they're gonna set up a runway kind of on the boardwalk of the beach.
Cool.
And have the models come down there, and I'm super
That's
excited
going to be so
about
awesome.
that. Yeah.
Wow. I'm
Let's hope it's a
tempted to
nice
go up
day.
there myself, but I freckle on the beach. On the sun, too much sun.
Definitely, York Beach is beautiful. I'm so lucky
know it is.
that like I get to live there and call that my home now. And people come up like as tourists and they have to leave, and it's like I get to stay.
So,
And
now you look very fit. What do you do to stay in shape? I take it you work out. You must have a trainer.
do.
Or a
I'll let you in on a secret.
Training regimen.
yeah, I'll let you in on my little
Go
fitness
ahead.
secret. So bar class.
What is it?
Bar class.
Bar class. That's something sounds fitnessy, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so basically I danced competitively for like the first 15 years of my life or
Okay.
so.
Great aerobic exercise. Yep.
And then I stopped because I played D1 hockey for my high school.
You played what? You played hockey?
Yeah,
What was
for
that
a
like?
Division I school.
Division hockey. Cool.
Yeah.
So you've obviously been athletic all along too.
Yep.
Cool.
But then when I transferred high schools, they only had a boys hockey team.
Okay.
And I couldn't play with the boys, so
Well, some girl, you know, I mean, you said that, but you know what? I mean, as a go-getter, look at Manuel Room, that woman who played in the NHL. You know what I'm talking about?
I do, yes, yeah.
I'm not saying, I mean, that's fine, but maybe you felt out of place only because you felt, you know, maybe, I mean, you didn't want to push it. You know, you would have, maybe it wouldn't have looked good to be rejected, but at the same time, you had so much going for you already. You know, why bother?
Yeah, I mean, I did talk to the coach about it and like express my interest in playing on the team still, but.
Okay.
I mean, he said I was open to come out, and I almost said audition, but try out.
Okay.
Hockey is tryouts, not auditions. And I was just, after like seeing like the boys who was going to be on my team, I was just a little scared.
Yeah,
being,
if
like,
you don't want to be hit. I understand.
Smaller human. But yeah, so that's how I got into bar, because I was like, crap, no, I don't do dance anymore. I'm not playing hockey. Like, I need to stay in shape, and like going to the gym, like it's fun, but it gets like monotonous, like the same routines, even switching them up. It's the same people, the same equipment. So I found this thing called bar class, and it's basically intensive ballet training.
Cool. Then you got to
in a
dance
gym
again.
setting, exactly.
Right.
And it hurts a lot.
But you thrive on the pain.
I do.
Wow.
I do. Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. You're a brave young lady. I got to tell you, I got arthritis in my knees. I couldn't do that now, but I mean, I try to stay in shape too. When I do it, I mean, as you can see, I'm not, you know, I'm just kind of a stick figure too. Like not as I don't have a 10-inch waist like you got, but all right, well that's good. So that's fun to do.
Yeah.
And do you do that with partners or do you do it by yourself?
It's actually done in a yoga studio.
Oh, yoga studio.
In bare feet with like a class, but it's like a small class.
Okay.
Definitely like Google it, look at it. You're gonna be like, that doesn't look like it hurts. Trust me. Those little thermobands and those medicine balls, they kill.
I'm sure they do. How much do they weigh?
Oh, like a pound.
Oh yeah, but what you have to do with them, you have to use your like smallest, the tiniest muscles.
There's muscles that I didn't even know I had in my body.
There you go.
That are sore, and I'm like, I don't even know where I would put a heating pad on me.
But you don't look like you have any ace bandages around you like you get injured or anything.
No, I don't. Okay. I don't at the moment, but
that's good. But that's awesome. Sore. Okay. All right. Well, so you got a bikini shoot coming up on the beach at York in Maine.
Yep.
When is that?
July 7th. The Sunday after July 4th. Yeah, so that's a 7th.
So that's a week from Sunday.
Yep.
Okay. Wow.
Real soon.
That's great. Okay. So, and how many people do you think will be competing in that?
There would probably be between 20 and 30 models, but the audience is going to be great because it's just at the beach. So anybody who's just sitting on the beach, since the runway is going to be down the boardwalk, will have the opportunity to just see what's going on.
You'll have a lot of eyes on you.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. I get that.
Exactly.
Okay. Now you said, here's the thing. You said you didn't like acting. You just like modeling. Now, what I do with all my guests is I try to give them advice that might help them out. Now, I understand you prefer modeling and you're great at it. You're a beautiful young girl.
Thank you so much.
But if you attempt to do stuff in acting as well, audition for something, it might behoove you to do it. It might benefit you because, let's say, I mean, you mentioned a few minutes ago, okay, someday I'll be too old to model. But if you get it like land a movie role, even a small one, that could look great on a resume, and that could be stuff you could do later on too. And no one's going to forget you either. That's the other thing.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you got a long way. I mean, time flies. Before you know it, you're going to be pushing 60 like I am. Okay. But you know what? You take care of yourself. People are going to be more in awe of you than they're going to be mocking that. They're going to say that's amazing. If you get in the films, then you'll be able to keep that up at 80 and 90 too. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely not against acting. It's just
you just don't.
I put a lot of my heart and my soul into modeling.
Right.
Especially I'm only 5'6", and to
that's
do
true.
Runway, you're supposed to be a little taller than that.
Yeah.
So
you bend the rules for yourself.
I do.
Literally
I
going
make
down
it
to
work.
5'6".
I make it work.
You do.
And
That's awesome. Okay. Now it sounds to me like so you represent yourself. At this point, Dynasty Models is where it's at.
Yeah.
Okay. What are so do you have a certain number of photographers you work with regularly that you want to name or at least name the number of them, because it sounds to me like you got quite a few, and it looks like it on your Facebook page too.
Yeah. I've shot with a bunch of people over the past 4 or so years when I first started building my portfolio. I'll give a shout out to a good friend of mine, Eric Torres.
Okay.
He's based in the Beverly, Massachusetts area.
Okay, he's a photographer, right?
He's a photographer and a really great friend of mine.
Cool.
We've gotten published in a couple magazines together.
Talk about the what do you mean? You mean he's taking shots of you that have been
gotten published? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, all right. Well, talk about the magazines. What are they?
All right. So first of all, we submitted to Italian Vogue, which I've always wanted to do that. And
Wow.
I finally had shots that I felt were strong enough that he took of me that were able to be submitted. Unfortunately, it didn't make it into the final publication, but just the fact that Italian Vogue looked at us and considered us, I just think that's one of the coolest things ever.
It is.
We're definitely gonna try again too, but there's that. I was in Sour Magazine last December.
Okay.
Which, if you're not familiar with Sour Magazine, it's kind of edgy, gothic, show a lot of skin, but their themes and what they put in is very creative. And being an artist, I love different concepts like that.
There you go.
So I was on the contents page, our picture is in the background.
Sweet.
The contents, and I had the first 2 pages also as spreads in the magazine. And Eric again took those photos. I also just submitted, my most recent shoot with him was a submission to Sports Illustrated swimsuit.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm waiting to hear back. My fingers and the rest of my body parts are crossed.
Well, just the fact that you did that is incredible.
Thank you.
And I know that if you don't, that's there's millions of women that want to do that, and it's probably only 50 slots to fill. But you know what? You're gonna don't worry about that. You're in the league right now. You're in the Loop League.
Thank you
the
so
Loop
much.
In the league. So that's
encouraging to hear.
Yeah. That's great. That is so cool. Okay, have you ever done, now what about, I asked you about music. You've never done anything musical except for dancing, right?
No, I did music for
talk about music.
A bit, yes. So
what'd you do?
I used to sing in a girl band called Wink.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
Yes, I was young. I was 14, 15, 16, and then when did I stop? We had a lot of member switches happening, and people were going to college, and I was going to college, and it just we couldn't really hold ourselves together as a group. Everybody wanted to do their own things. So right now, Wink is still a band if you look them up. My friend Sienna is still very much involved, and my manager Paul, but there's another girl who sings with Sienna now, and it's the 2 of them doing shows and photo shoots and working towards that. But music has always been a big part of my life. I've always listened to music when I draw, as a little kid. It's always been just on. Long car rides. I live in Maine. There's a lot of those that happen. Headphones are always in. And I never thought I could sing, though. That's the funny part. I would just sing in the shower.
But you do, right?
And sing in the
you
car.
sing well, don't you?
Yeah, it took my manager, my old manager, Paul, to get me to come out to an audition and sing into a microphone for the first time. And he was like, yeah, you haven't had a voice lesson, but you're not tone deaf, so there's some potential there. And I was like, oh.
Well, I had a girl.
Okay.
I had a model on a few weeks ago from Connecticut.
Okay.
Named Melissa McCulley, and she. We finished the show. At the end of the show, she posted a YouTube video of herself singing, and it was amazing.
Wow, I'll have to check that out.
Well, do check it out. Check out the show with her. It's on the Easton website.
Okay.
In the meantime, it sounds to me like you might want to get back into it a little bit. You like music.
I do.
There's nothing wrong with being, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to help you find more things that you can do.
I so appreciate
in addition to
that.
modeling that you can enjoy.
Yeah.
That it's going to help, that's going to keep you floating for more things. Because someday, you're gonna leave a mark on the world, which is gonna be.
I hope so.
I know you will.
That's the goal.
But the more, I'm just saying, you want it to be, and you want to have fun too. And you have fun. Let me ask you this: do you like? You're not into acting. What about comedy? Do you ever? I'm just wondering. Did you ever think of maybe doing some stand-up comedy somewhere?
My friends think I'm funny, but that's about it. I don't know.
Maybe, so what? So if your friends think you're funny, maybe strangers would too.
Yeah. It's a possibility.
Are you familiar with Sarah Silverman, the comedian?
I am, yep. She was on SNL. She was in that movie School of Rock.
She's also my cousin.
That's your cousin?
It's my cousin.
That's amazing.
I know. You see the resemblance? I'm the ugly side of the family. Well, actually, it's funny. I had an extra role in 2 films, and one of them was Shutter Island. I played a mental patient, a role I was born to play in 2008. And I worked directly with Scorsese. And there was one scene where I was being escorted across the floor of a mental hospital in handcuffs and foot shackles. Mm-hmm. So the girl that played the nurse had worked with Sarah out in L.A. And when she told Scorsese that I was a cousin, he goes, "Oh, I could see the family resemblance." So that was pretty cool.
Honestly, now that you mention it, I can see it. I'm not even just saying that for the show. I can actually see it.
Yeah, it's there. It's my mother's side of the family.
Yeah.
And she knows about Topic Time. If she ever comes east, I'd love to get her on as a guest.
Definitely.
But in the meantime, I got you here. That's fine. But that's awesome. That's what I'm thinking. I figure you seem to you're a giggly type. It would be an original thing too. Something you don't see too many models doing stand up. Most of the women that do stand up are neurotic and they have daddy issues or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you tried it, you might find that it's pretty fun, and you might get a few people guffawing, and you can still do your modeling.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just an idea, just a thought.
Well, now you got
Practice
me
in
thinking.
front of a mirror, maybe. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm trying to do.
Because there's a lot of where I go to school up in Portland, Maine. There's a ton of like karaoke bars and restaurants that I've like sung in, but they also, a couple of them do like stand-up stuff and open poetry. I mean, I do write as well. I'm working on a book.
Talk about the book. I've written a couple of books myself, so I can relate. Go ahead.
Yeah, so for my school, I'm minoring in creative writing, and the senior like capstone big thesis project before you graduate is to write a book and get it published, and those are really the only guidelines. So I've always been one of those people that I'm not the best at like saying in words how I feel, but I can write it down, and people will read that. So
once you get the printed word, they can't take it away from you.
That too.
Or put it this way: if you write it and it comes out wrong, you can always re-edit it to make it right. If you say it and it comes out wrong, you put your foot in your mouth and you can't, and you cannot remove it. But I just made that up. That's pretty clever, huh?
It works though. That's exactly it. It's like I can, like talking is sometimes it just comes out like no filter. Maybe it's filtered too much. It depends on who you're with or what the situation is. But with writing, it's like I can stare at what I'm trying to say and pinpoint it to make it exactly how I want it to come off as to the reader. So. Are
you taking a creative writing course at school?
Yes.
Isn't that fun?
I've taken it in high school too, and it's something that I've definitely knew that I wanted to.
Because you know what it is, when you're taking a creative writing course, you say you're sitting with like 20 other people. It's always cool because you can see that a lot of people in there, you don't realize how talented they are until you start reading their work. And you never know how talented you could be too until they start reading your work and you start and passing it back and forth. Because I started. It's funny because in 1989, 30 years ago, I took a creative writing course at Bridgewater State down here. It's in a couple of towns away.
Yep.
10 years later, the guy that taught the course published my book.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So in 1999. Short stories. And it took me 10 years to write it. It took me the whole decade of the 90s to put it together.
Yeah.
And then finally, after sending it around the world and getting it rejected, I went right back to him, and he had his own printing press at the school. And when he figured was when he did my book, he could do it for other people too. So he ended up putting up a memo on his bulletin board saying, anyone want a book published, come see Mike Hurley.
That's amazing.
It is,
I love that.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, giving back like that.
It's totally true. And that's the same thing, and that applies to you too. If you're talking about a book that you're writing? Is it an autobiography or is it fiction? What is it?
It's going to be a collection of essays that kind of tell the story of my life, but only like the really obscure, like weird things that have happened to me.
Okay, that's okay.
That's all I'm going to say for now.
That's fine.
I have like 10 essays so far.
I put it this way: if I happen to be browsing at Barnes and Noble and I saw that book and I saw that on the cover, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
Just seeing that, just say, well, this has to be worth buying. This is wild stuff.
It's stuff you don't talk about on camera.
Okay, definitely none. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely something I might want to look at. Okay. Yeah. Any illustrations? It doesn't have to be.
No, I mean, I haven't really gotten that far yet. I'm trying to get the book like writing-wise perfected, and then, like I said, I do draw. I like art. I know how to draw.
Clothes.
Shocking, yeah.
Okay.
So there'll probably be some of that in there. I just don't know to what degree. How, like, if there's going to be one on every page, or if I'm going to kind of design the pages as the backdrop and then put the print over it.
Okay, well, you have time to decide that. Yeah. And you can have your mother help you with that. Just people giving you advice, and then eventually you make the final decision.
Exactly.
Right, and that is really cool. All right, so now going forward, you've said you're going to eventually you're going to get into the design if you think you eventually can't model anymore. Mm-hmm. So do you spend time designing clothes now?
Yes.
Okay.
So
have you designed any?
I have.
All right,
actually, I have pictures of that on my phone. I can send you after we can put those in.
We'll look at it. Okay.
Yeah, so I started sewing when I was 12.
Wow.
I got a sewing machine for Christmas because I wanted my mom's big brother sewing machine that's attached to the table in the basement with the sheet over it that nobody uses, and she's like, you should probably start on something smaller. So she bought me the little Singer machine, the starter one.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're a singer who sews. Singer sews.
Perfect. It was it was meant to be. So I started off making pillows, which sounds totally random, but you learn to sew in a straight line and then you stuff them and they make good Christmas gifts.
That guy in Minnesota. He's made a fortune by that pillow that you make. Maybe you can invent something like that.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I started with pillows. Obviously, I knew I wanted to make clothes. You can't really wear a pillow, but again, you learn to sew in a straight line, and it's a good place to start.
Okay.
So I didn't really make any wearable clothing until my senior year of high school, and I was putting my art school portfolio together, and I made like a wrap skirt with snaps and a little tube top that matched.
Okay, cool.
And I mean, that's like the outfit that I credit with getting me into art school.
Cool.
Because that was the only like full outfit that I had.
Did you mention what art school you go to?
Maine College of Art.
Maine College of Art. Okay,
that's
now that's the only college you're attending right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is your curriculum consist of any electives aside from that have nothing to do with it? I'm just wondering.
Yeah. So like I'm required to take. I mean, so the liberal arts courses are like spread out throughout your 4 years at art school.
Right.
So like last year I took English and I took art history, and then this year I'm taking philosophy and world history, and then I got to take 5 other like art classes.
Okay.
Fashion illustration, machine knitting. There's one where I learned how to use a 3D like laser printer type thing. I'm super excited about that. I know nothing about it, but it's gonna be fun.
Right.
And then
sounds like graphic arts a little bit.
Yeah, like 3-dimensional, like almost like sculpture, but not, actually making a sculpture from like scratch because you get it out of a printer. But and then creative writing is like on top of that is like my sixth class.
There you go.
That I love so much that I packed it into my schedule because I need to do it to get my book done.
It sounds like you got it all. It sounds like you got it all covered. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, Vanessa? We're down to the final 5 minutes of the show.
Wow.
You made it go by.
That went by so fast.
It does. We always have fun at topic time, and you helped make it go by fast too.
Thank you.
You were a wonderful guest and plenty to say. So what I want you to do in the remaining 5 minutes, like I ask all my guests, is to give shouts out to people that are going to see the show, including your mom, because she's right here, but then you can go to other people, friends, maybe a photographer friend up in Maine, and friends at school, family members, other family members.
All right.
So go ahead.
Let me
then
give my
wrap the show up.
So I'm going to give another shout out to Eric Torres, one of my best photographer friends. Cross your fingers for Sports Illustrated. If you haven't seen my Instagram submission, go look at it, go show all your friends, we're trying to make this happen. I'm gonna shout out my mom too, just because she's sitting right there and she drove me all the way here from Maine. It's not a short ride, and she's my biggest supporter. She comes to everything I do. She's not an artist, and she comes to all my shows, and she has no idea what's going on, but she's there anyway. So so appreciative of her. Love her to death. Shout out Dynasty Models and Talent for signing me.
Big D.
I'm proud to have my face represented by you guys and do work for you. I'm thinking, shout out Maine College of Art. If any of my friends up there are watching this, I'm doing this for you guys, putting Portland on the map again. It's far away and small, but we're valid and we do cool things.
Well, I love that last one.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that.
That I can see on a billboard. I'd stop along the highway to read that. Well, I hope you had fun with me tonight.
I had a great time.
Okay.
This is my first time doing this. This is not what I expected at all, and it was really fun.
And you mean that in a good way, right?
Oh yeah, in the best way. I hope I can do this again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, you were a wonderful guest. And you might want to think of maybe starting your own TV show too. You could probably do that. That people do that. That's how I started. You just, you got you got something to say. There are people that want to hear it, and this is the best way to get the word out.
Absolutely.
Okay, so after just curious, are you done with school for the semester because it's summertime?
Yes, I was done April 26th.
Oh, okay, that's an early departure.
Well, we started early.
You started
mid-August.
Oh, you started in August, so you're going back in August too, right?
I'm not 100% sure yet because I'm not a freshman who has to do the whole orientation weekend.
Okay, but they're going to let you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
They probably already did it. I just need to get out of summer mode and check my school email. Which I haven't done in a while.
Well, that's great. No, that's great. And how many years do you have left before you graduate? Oh, you're just a
3-ish because I'm going to be a sophomore.
Just a sophomore. Okay.
But I mean, I don't know if I'm going to go for my master's after. I don't know.
Well, listen, you got time.
Anything is possible,
You just play, you just do one thing at a time, and that's how you got to where you're at now.
Yeah.
Well, great job, Vanessa, and hope you're ready to jiggy with it.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, yeah, you were great. You ready to jiggy with it at the end? Okay, folks, thanks for watching Top of Time. More great episodes to follow. See you next time. Here we go. Happy 4th of July.